This is a live. And let's see, I've never done live on my phone before, so let me see if I can switch the camera around to the opposite side. No, that didn't do it. I don't even know what that is. Make it go away. And, oh, I know what I need to do. Hey y'all, APG Jamie here. And today, we're going to do a walkthrough of my rec studio. We are expecting contractors this afternoon, maybe, cross fingers, jump down, go to town boogie. So as you walk in, y'all may or may not remember, this used to be where my big old sink was and my countertops were and all that. And that's where the broke pipe is. Anywho, hey Gail, thanks for being here. Such short notice or no notice at all. Here's our split, the pipe split right here, all the way down to there. So we go from here to there's the split, and it actually has broke apart right there. And then this broke when they were pulling the counters out, of no surprise. So I'll back up to the door. That's my babies. This is where they have the majority of my stuff piled. Not sure how I'm supposed to get it down to unpack it once we get things fixed. So as you can see, we've got junk stacked up. Most of this got to stay. Well, actually all of this got to stay because it didn't get wet. But they cleared off, they being Puro Clean, cleared off most of the countertops. I mean, what's left is going to have to be covered up with plastic and all that. There's the pile from this side. There's my desktop, which I packed up myself and carried all that in the house. And these are a bunch of frames I had on the floor. They all got wet, but I think they're okay. And that's my usual camera device. No, I did not lose supplies. Unless you count napkin backs as supplies. And I must say, I've only started laughing within the last couple of days. I've been really not quite me. And then that's our couch. Of course, it got all wet. It's a sofa couch, you know, because we use this as a guest room, or used it as a guest room. We're not using it for anything now. Here's another pile of treasure. And I stood my canvases back up because the packer guys had laid them cockeyed, so they were starting to twist. So we got all this, and this is just a 2-foot tear out or cut out. And technically it should be 4 foot because sheetrock comes in 4-foot sections. So, hey QT, hey Function. Thanks for being here, y'all, on no notice. I'll have to take the TV down because the contractor says he will, when they go to add the texture, they'll retexture the whole thing and then paint it, which will be, y'all, this is so unexpected. And I know people say, oh, you can redecorate. I didn't want to redecorate, okay? Didn't want to. Anyway, I'll have to get this TV down somehow because my hubby can't do that. I'll get to a little story here in a little bit. And then here's my custom bathroom countertop, and it's busted. And then that's our handicap size toilet. They're taller than others. Here's some more treasures all piled up. There's a bookcase. There's a bookcase under that one. And then we're going to walk around to the restroom, bathroom. I would say bath, but there's no bath in here. Turn lights on. So this I have to be cut out. And then when they were taking things out, turn the camera around, they kind of This was a corner shower. They made some good, oh, you couldn't see my finger, could you? They made some good, bad Bobos. So this sheetrock will have to be replaced probably pretty much all the way up. And then that's where the potty went. And of course, no one seemed to believe me when I kept telling them, no, you have to cut out these walls in the restroom too because there's insulation in there. Hey, Tamara. And they said, oh no, nobody puts insulation on interior walls. And I said, well, being how I had the place built, I had insulation put inside my walls. You know, so once they cut one wall open, then they believed me after that. I don't know why they thought I'd be a liar. Okay, well, evidently my cell phone holder is been put somewhere. So we're going to have to try to do a balancing act. Bear with me, y'all. First time on the phone. Okay, let me switch back. Let's see if we can't get us. Oh, don't look at all them chins, y'all. Okay. So, most of y'all know that down here in Texas we had severe freeze. Hey, Susan. A couple weeks ago. Yeah, it's been at least a couple weeks, y'all. It has been one long month. Anyway, we had record temperatures. We got down to 7. That's probably the night the pipes froze. Even though I had my heater going on out here, I had the the faucet running. And anyway, so after we found the burst pipe, my husband had to go to work, okay, because it was not icy enough for him to have stayed home, even though he should have stayed home. And after I tell you that story, you'll go, oh, yeah, he should have stayed home. So he had to go to work, and he actually was sitting in for one of his employees at the service counter. He's a service, or not a service, right? He's a manager for the parts and service and body and all that kind of stuff at a Ford dealership. So he was sitting in for one of his employees right in service. That's where you go in and you tell the people what your car's doing. You know, it's making this noise or it's jiggling or whatever it's doing. So he's doing that, and he's talking to a customer, and the stool he was on just collapsed underneath him. So straight down on the floor he went. Oh, thanks, y'all. I know I told Barb Owen I was riding a sympathy train, and I really don't mean to be riding the sympathy train because I would not wish this on anybody else. So I would not rather this have happened to any of you, let's say. Okay. So anyway, he fell down. The customer called 911, and the ambulance came and took him over to the hospital. Now he works almost 2 hours away from home, and this was mid-morning, and by the time I would have got there, everything would have been freezing up again. So I didn't go, and it was real hard not to rush to the hospital when they take your husband to the hospital. But my mind kept telling me, if you go there, you're going to get stuck up there. There's only one hotel. Is there one hotel? I think there's only one hotel up there. And because I wouldn't be able to drive home because it would be icy again. And I wouldn't be able to see him at the hospital. Sympathy train. Yeah, I know. Thanks, Susan. I wouldn't be able to see him at the hospital because the whole COVID thing, they don't let you in unless you're a patient. So I was maintaining pretty good. And then I was checking in, and his boss, of course, had called me, the owner, and kept me updated. And as it turned out, he fractured 2 vertebrae, and the third one, they never really could tell if it was actually fractured or not. So, and this was, after we found the burst pipe. So that's been really fun. And then a week ago today, probably about this time. Let's just say about this time. Oh, you're getting more information because there's more stuff. But anyway, my husband was off for like a week and a half, 2 weeks. See, I don't know, because the not sleeping well and the nights and the days are all, and I don't know where my crown is. Those hoodlums put it in whatever box they put it in. Anyway, so we went to work. Well, I'm driving him, okay? So took him to work last Wednesday, and I got him to leave after a half a day, and that was really too much doing anyway. So we come home. We stopped and picked up some food and ate it on the way home, actually. So we come home, and it's like 1:30 in the afternoon. We pull in the driveway. Everything's, hunky-dory as far as we're concerned. Get out of my little truck, and because it's easier for him to get in and out of my little truck than it is for his car, which is a little lower to the ground. So I get him in the house and get him all settled in, and I go and get my stuff out of the truck because, when you don't have nothing to do sitting at somebody else's job, you take your laptop so you can at least watch YouTube or play solitaire. So I got my stuff out of the truck and came in, and everything was fine. And then Friday, my husband felt like maybe he could take a little walk. So we walked the dogs about half a block that way. And when we got back home, we noticed the doors on the driver's side of my husband's car were not actually closed all the way, which was weird, So we open it up, and sure enough, somebody had been in the car, and they had taken stuff out of the little console. And you know how people keep change and dollar bills, maybe. Anyway, my husband does. Had taken that, and we noticed they had taken and shoved one of the fingernail files in the ignition switch. I mean, they had cut a wire. They was fixing to take the car. So my husband calls the police, right? And I'm in the house because we have cameras, cameras being more than one. Oh, it gets way scarier, y'all. Wait till y'all hear this shit. Sorry, dung. Anyway, so I'm looking through the videos and hours went by, y'all. And I finally found it. It had happened Wednesday. And this kid, I say kid, he was in his 20s, but he was, young punk. The punk. You can see him walking down the street, just trekking along, got a big old backpack, red backpack on. He stops in front of our mailbox, and he looks at the mailbox, and he looks at the house. Then he walks up and stands next to my husband's car, and he's got his hands in his pocket, and he looks at the car like this, and he looks up at the front porch, and he looks at the car, and he looks at the front porch. Creepy. It looked creepy, okay? And then next thing you know, he opened the back door on the car and then reached around and opened the front door from the back seat and got in the car to proceed to do his magical car thief crap. He's probably never stolen a car, or he would have stolen it, okay? That's our guess. And in the meantime, this dude's in the car, and here we are pulling in the driveway. I don't look in the car when I get home. I mean, it's got tinted windows, so you would have to deliberately make a point to look into the car. But why? We don't. I didn't. Will I now? I don't know. Maybe. So, like I said, I got my husband in the house. I went back out to get my stuff out of the car, and I get him settled down and get him to sleep. And I had spilt the Coke. Well, I didn't spill it. It got dumped over in the car and the floorboard. So I went back out into the driveway to clean the floor mat. I don't know if the guy was still in there then, but on the video, you could see him. He stayed in the car a long time, y'all. It was a good 10 minutes. He stayed in that car. And when he got out, he just got out of the car, closed the door, slung his backpack on his back, and walked back down the street like nothing. It's just creepy to think about. I don't think he was necessarily violent because there was nothing to stop him from getting out and, banging us in the head and taking the keys because he would have had the keys then. Well, he couldn't have started the car because he had the fingernail file jammed in there, and that didn't work anymore. But he could have stolen my truck. I had my laptop. Could have knocked us in the head. It's kind of lucky we didn't see him, because if we'd have seen him, he might be a dead boy. Just saying, this is Texas. And we have, we have weapons because we have open carry licenses, and it's all okay. And so he's kind of lucky, and we're kind of lucky. And so, yeah, here we are. It was hard to sleep that night. Y'all, look at my hair. Anyway, so that's my tragic stories. I'm finally pulling out of it. It looks like the insurance is going to cover the majority of the damages, which is good news. It is catastrophic. And when I just got home, because my husband's going to have to drive his car home today. Did the cameras help the police? I believe they did, because the officer, what's her face? I don't remember her name. Said that the description sounded like a guy one of the other officers had picked up in this area a couple of days ago. Now, see, we notified them on Friday, so that would have been on Wednesday that they picked him up. So they probably got him. So I so appreciate y'all. When I'd asked for the prayers on Facebook, it was in regards to my husband. Everything else is just kind of happenstance. But I have certainly needed the prayers, wanted the prayers, and I am so grateful to every one of you that prayed, sent good vibes, positive thoughts, and everything, because they have helped reinforce me. And I really can't do anything, because anything I want to do is going to be in the box. Well, I've got some stuff in the house, but there's nowhere to do anything except the floor, and I'm not going to do it on the floor because it's covered in dog hair, because we got the babies. So I've been full of woe is me and riding on the sympathy train and, stuff like that. But I'm starting to pull out of it. Like I said, a couple days ago, I actually laughed out loud, and that was really nice. It's funny how you don't necessarily miss that your own self is laughing until you do it. You haven't done it for a long time, and then you do it. So things are going better. We've had our 3 horrible things happen, so we should be in the clear. Okay, we should be. We should be in the clear now. So anyway, I hope all of y'all are doing well. Oh, let me tell you, other people have flooded or, had burst pipes. Our guy on that side had a pipe burst. And then when I just came home from taking my husband to work, I saw where the lady on the corner had her garage door open, and it was all tore out too. So I'm really glad that it was in the studio. I don't know. If it was in the house, it would be horrible. We flooded in the house before, and that was pretty horrible. And I really didn't want to redecorate, but yet, and we got builder grade stuff. They don't make these countertops anymore. I don't know. I had a special sink, and they threw my sink out with the cabinets. And I'm like, why did they do that? The sink was okay. You just never know. So it's kind of been weird. The insurance adjuster, and it is Travelers, and they are being very, very kind. And the insurance adjuster came down from Georgia, not just for us. There's other people. And he came by yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. And he was really nice, and I chit-chatted because, I chit-chat, yappity-yappity. And He's got other places to go before he goes back up to Georgia, and he says he'll be up there for about a week, and then he'll have to come back down. I don't know, re-inspecting stuff. I don't know how that works. So I'm better, but there will be no videos. The only thing I have done is, you know, the hashtag Same Sex Wednesday. Those were have been pre-recorded because that was an obligation, and we had a deadline, you know, to get everything in so everything could be scheduled properly and blah blah. Oh, sorry. I dropped you. My apologies. Quit touching stuff. Okay, quit touching stuff. Cross my hands. Sit on them or something. So anyway, that's the only thing I've got, and that's probably all you're going to see for the month of March. I doubt if anything will be ready for me to go live on the third Thursday, because once all this gets put back together, I have to really put it back together. So we're hoping for April now, y'all. And I've already told Mary that I won't be able to do the fourth Sunday live hop. I'll have to miss that again. Just, I mean, to be safe. I don't want to put anybody under pressures, because there's enough of that here already. Yes, you are more than free to peruse and watch all my, thanks, Arlene. Arlene sent a GIF, GIF. A picture, a moving picture, but I can't see anything. Anyway, laugh with me. Yeah. Anyway, of course, my husband, he's been, you know, fretting about me, and I've been fretting about him. And then my friend Alice, y'all know I've talked about Alice. She had surgery yesterday on her shoulder, but there's good news with that. It wasn't near as bad as the doctor suspected it was. And she should make a full recovery probably within 6 weeks' time, maybe something like that. So that's really good news. The mask mandate in the state of Texas is now off. Everybody's open to full occupancy again. But as most of y'all probably know, my husband and I, we started wearing masks a good month and a half before it was even mandated. So, and because of his low immune system, we will continue to wear masks. I don't know how long, till we're comfortable. I'm not, and yes, there is a COVID shot, a COVID immunization, a series of 2, and nowadays they have 1, you just take 1 shot. But the thing that a lot of people are not realizing about the shot, the COVID shot, the immunization, is it does not keep you from getting it. It does not keep you from getting it. It lessens the severity, okay? So just so you know, and with immune issues, you have issues with taking immunizations, because he's had a stem cell in the past that stopped him from being able to have a lot of immunizations because of the stem cell. Because that wipes any natural immunities you may have had, that knocks them all out. So, yeah, a lot of people are skipping the part of it doesn't stop you from getting sick, and it doesn't. My husband did lose his employee to COVID. One of his body shop guy, he lost him. My neighbor had lost his mother, and then they moved out, and another guy moved in who has been sick with COVID for a month, but he's not been hospitalized, and he is doing better. His girlfriend was coming around once a day, and bless his heart, he couldn't even get up to answer the door, and that's why he didn't answer the door when the dogs were fighting. The girlfriend had put the dogs out when she came over that morning, I guess, and then put them back in later in the day. But he doesn't have the dogs anymore. They were her dogs. They have doled out the 2 dogs to other people. And just so you know, I don't know how much charge I have on my phone. So if I just turn off, it's because the phone died. You know, I'm just so full of goodness. I will say I got a piece of Happy Meal today. Thank you, Katie. And it just turned the waterworks on. It was such a blessing for her, because she relayed to me how much I was able to, that she felt that I was able to bless her and encourage her, which is what this is all about. It's what it should be. I shouldn't say what should be for you, but So anyways, the dogs are good. We had to take them to get their heartworm test, and they are negative. So we get to stay on our regular heartworm medicine, and all is good as far as that goes. And that's a happy thought. Champ is, his whole anxious little self, because he doesn't like, it will, Terry. Thank you so much. It could have been so much worse. Could have been so much worse. We are covered by the grace of God. I'm telling you. And I would not wish this on anybody, so I can't say I wished it hadn't happened to me or us, because it would have happened to somebody else, and I don't want that either. So, yeah, it looks like they're really going to be covering everything, probably pretty much. And, I think the worst that's going to come out of it is I won't have a matching countertop over there. But I'm like, whatever. I need a sink back, y'all. I missed my sink the next day when I was out here, had been sucking up all the water and junk, and I went to wash my hands in the sink, and I couldn't use the sink because by that time we'd turn the water off, right? So, but at least it's not in the house, and we do have water in the house. And truthfully, we never lost power here at all during the whole ice freezy thing, which was a big blessing. Yeah, I took my jelly plates in there. I took them in the house for them guys ever came. So anyway, but that's really about it. So that's my traumatic story, and I don't know if I'll do any little room tours after the guys start working. We've only been able to get one contractor to come out and even look at the place. I think a lot of times they're concentrating on people where their house proper was messed up, and so they can get them back in their houses. Because if you have a burst pipe, you don't have running water in your house anymore. And down here in Texas, we are not, hey CB, we are not, yeah. That's right, Gail. Nobody would really ever notice that the countertops don't match, because y'all know how I have, Blade, the artistic biker says, flat surface syndrome. You just pile it up and pile it up and pile it, because it's flat, it's not going to roll off till you bump it, and then it's a craft-a-lanch. But our houses are not built for long freezes like that. And we were frozen at least 5 days, 3 in the teens, and then 2 nights were in the single digits. And I think we got to 7 degrees here at our house, which is pretty flipping cold, even with a heater. And I feel so horrible for the people that had lost their electricity and weren't able to heat their house. Because even if you have a gas heater, air conditioner, whole house, whatever thing, you can't use it without electricity. So they would have had to revert to their ovens, their stoves, if they had them. But anyway, we're blessed. We're on the road to recovery. Husband is doing physical therapy 3 times a week, and he's starting to feel better, which is why he felt like he could drive the car home. We'll see where that goes tomorrow. Yeah, we have the whole house generator here, so even if the electricity had gone off, we would have had that. And both our neighbors on either side of us, they do know they are welcome to throw an electric cord over. So, oh yeah, electric. When I lived in Humble, the last time this happened, I lived in Humble, Texas, and it was 30 years ago, and my son had just been born a couple months prior, and our pipe had froze there, and we were without electricity for 2 weeks in an all-electric house. So with a new baby, that was fun. And, you know, of course, we were broke as a joke and couldn't stay in no hotel motel because we were broke as a joke. And anyway, that's it. I've kept y'all on here for 30 minutes, and that's plenty long enough to be on the sympathy train. Any and all positive vibes, prayers, and everything are always welcome for my husband and myself. And of course, Texas loves that kind of stuff too. And I reciprocate, and I send you all prayers, and my prayer warriors, I pray for them too, whoever they may be, because you just never know who God puts it on their heart to pray for you. You know, when those weird names pop in your head and you're like, I don't even know anybody named Sally. Better say a prayer for them, because that's what you were requested to do. Y'all know my beliefs on that. Anyway, gonna sign off. Thanks for watching, and happy arting, y'all. Now to figure out how to turn it off. Thank you guys really so much. I appreciate it. Let's see, how do I just hit the X? Does anybody know? Thanks, y'all.